Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to Let's Scrap, a new podcast series here brought to you by Backchat Studios. I'm so excited for this, seriously. This has been my passion for so long, and now having a show dedicated to MMA, thank you to Backchat, is a dream come true. And man, what a better way to start it. Episode 1 here on the show. A guy that is very well known in the MMA community, Mitch Tinley, MMA reporter, journalist, and founder of Australian MMA. Thank you so much for coming on the show. First episode as well. How are you today? And yeah, welcome to the show.
Wow. Am I the first guest?
On this show, yes.
That is crazy. But that's really cool. I like that you've done that. That's good marketing because it's only up from here.
Yeah, exactly. No. Well, no.
You know, they say that the bar's set low. It's on the floor. So everyone else, you could bring in an 0-4 amateur and everyone's like, oh my God, look at him. Just keeps getting better with the guests.
Well, you know, the whole thing of this show and what I want it to be is it's not just interviewing fighters. It's interviewing personnel like yourself, you know, commentators, broadcasters, and that's what's going to make Let's Scrap an amazing show. Now, we were just speaking to some of the guys off camera before, and I did mention that I was going to tell you why my nickname has all of a sudden become Iced Tea.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was caught drinking iced tea. I don't drink coffee or
any. Caught?
Yeah, well, because all the guys around the office, they always make fun of me and give me shit for not drinking coffee. I never drink any. I always have water. Always have water.
Okay, that's good.
I don't drink alcohol. Don't drink coffee. Nothing. And then one day I decided, let's switch it up. Let's get an iced tea. And all the guys start calling me Iced Tea. Well, my name is Tony, so it kind of, iced tea.
I like that. And you're pretty cool. You're pretty nonchalant. Is the caffeines do too much to you? Is that what
I don't know. I just don't like the taste. Maybe I just haven't grown up enough yet
I was going to say
to reach that.
That feels like a child.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
But it's like everything. It's like no one likes beer, but you just push through.
Yeah.
And one day you're like, why do I do this?
Yeah, you get to that point. I'm not there yet, but one day. We'll get right into it. You know, we'll get a bit of a background of you, Mitch. Where'd you grow up? Do you have siblings? Did you grow up here in WA?
Damn, this is what it feels like.
You're usually on the other side.
I was talking to Brandon Perichik the other day, made his UFC debut, and I literally was like a 15-minute interview, and I'm like that, just like non-stop questions, and then whatever they say, I'm like, oh, what's that?
Yeah,
and he's like, is this therapy? And then I was like, oh yeah. So to see on the other side, I'm like, oh yeah. No, where did I grow up? I was born in Perth, mate, in Attadale. I don't even know what that is, but it's I've lived here for 20 years and it's on my passport and I have no idea where it is in Perth. But I did the majority of my formative years in Darwin. So from age 4 to 17, I grew up on the dirt streets, dirt Vegas, if you will, in Darwin. And yeah, it's a different world and it taught me a lot. And then, moved down here because I was getting into too much extracurricular activities in Darwin. And my parents were like, hey, we kind of like you. We don't want you to die yet. So they brought me back down here and chilled out a little bit. This has nothing to do with fighting, but I went to Trinity College, all boys school. So
I also went to Trinity.
Did ya?
Yes.
Are you an old boy?
Yes, I am. Graduated 23. I graduated.
Damn, 23. Shit.
Yeah.
I did not graduate. I was there for 4 weeks.
Wow.
I did not.
School wasn't your thing?
Nah, not school. Just like the things they make you do at Trinity.
It's different.
I went from Darwin, which was basically like minimum security prison at school, where if you just went, they were like, "Whoa, way to go!" But then when it was time to actually I think at year 11 and 12, you would like a senior in high school, or whatever, you would line up still. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was like, you children. Yeah. So I didn't like that. And then I just went to Willetton Basketball School, which is like basketball school, may as well be. Yeah. Senior high. It's like a really, really good public. So it's like good meet in the middle.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I mean, yeah, Trinity, I was there from year 7 to year 12. I had a really good experience, but I definitely get what you mean. It's very discipline and, they get you to do things that it's like, well.
The only class I did like was religion.
Yeah.
Because it was the only one where you would talk about other shit. Like it was at Catholic school.
Yeah.
But it was, I didn't even know, I wasn't there long enough. But like they would talk about like Hinduism and all that
religions.
sort of, and I was like, oh, cool. Like that was the only bit I enjoyed, and everything else was just silly.
Yeah. And what about like your sporting journey early on? Like obviously we'll get into the MMA stuff later, but I'm guessing basketball was a big one. Willerton.
Because of my height.
That as well?
Yeah, I thought so. He just saw me leap in here. And he was
massive.
Like, that guy.
6'5" walking in.
Hang on, 6 foot in shoes. Well, you play basketball in shoes, don't you? So
Exactly.
I'm 6 foot.
There you go.
No, so ever since I can remember, probably about 9, I wanted to be a basketball player. Like I wanted to be in the NBA. Like no plan B. They were plan A all the way. Like it's been my entire life. But that's what it was. I'm talking like, and you wouldn't know this because you're a child and the internet was invented. But when we were coming up, you used to have to record your like basketball games on like a handy cam, and you had to get this like special cord and like take it into a shop to get them to like download it.
Oh man, too much effort.
Oh mate, it was crazy. But here's how insane I was, right? I used to send my tape. Keep in mind, this is 5'2". Like I wasn't even a point guard because I was so slow and crap, right? And I would send my tapes in and I would research like what school LeBron went to, what school Dwight Howard went to. Like it's high schoolers.
Yeah.
And I went, hey, you guys are pretty good. Like I'm looking for a scholarship to play, and I'd send them my tape.
Wow, man.
That was like I look back now and it was like what they would say is like cringeworthy shit.
I respect that.
Oh,
though.
the belief, mate. The belief.
Who's doing that?
Myself.
Like that's good, man. I really rate that. I also really liked basketball growing up. I got into it at around 12 years old and became a really big part of my life actually. And I loved it, especially at Trinity, like playing. We used to play like every Saturday.
Yeah, what's it, the PSA or something?
PSA, yeah. So it was compulsory to pick a sport.
Because it's one of their pillars.
Yes.
See, I sat in that bit.
You remember?
It was like there's 4 pillars.
Yeah.
And it was even this one thing where the teacher or the principal or whatever they do, like when you first come in, and he was like, he's not allowed a job because his job is to be a student. And then went through the pillars, and sport's massive there.
Oh, it's big. Yeah, all the PSA schools, it's quite big, and you know that's why I liked it. But we'll get into a little bit of martial arts now. So I want to know at what point in life did you discover martial arts, and you know where did that passion sort of grow for? I'm guessing it might have been jiu-jitsu you started with, or
you'd think, but no. I started when I was 5.
Oh wow!
I did karate. I did a South Korean version called Tang Sudo.
Wow!
And it's all just kata. It was mainly just kata stuff. I still have to this day the broken pieces of wood that you would like kick.
That's so cool.
And they would sign it and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Shashin, I think his name was. That was like the whole lineage. I won like a big ass, to this day, still the biggest medal I've ever had. It's a big bronze medal about the size of like the opening of a tin can or something.
Yeah.
Like it was massive, right? It was thick as anything. And it was from like, it's not even point fighting. It was like fake point fighting. So it's like if you threw the right punch the right time from a meter away, they were like, winner.
Yeah.
Anyway, super soft. But like we did stuff like you would walk along the wood pylons together as a team. It was very like Karate Kid, like where he waxes the car. Like that. It was like that. So you know, I ended up hating it, but it was like, and then I put it away for a while. But I always get to say like brown belt in Tang Sudo karate, and no one knows what it is, but it sounds like I know what I'm doing. So I always had that. But put that away. Started doing basketball, and I would always talk a gang of just nonsense to people, and I always used to get myself in fights all the time. Right. And I thought I could fight, but I wasn't really doing anything. And it came to a point where I was like, you either need to stop talking crap or learn how to fight.
Yeah.
And I was so far deep into talking crap. I was like, I can't change who I am as a person. So I had to learn how to fight. So I walked into a place called Fitness and Fight Centre in Northbridge. Which would later slowly reveal itself as a Commentero bikie clubhouse, which was fun at the time for a kid that was just like, what's this? Oh, it's crazy. They were matching shirts. Oh, they're like, what a team. It was like slowly, yeah. And it's where I met, honestly, it's where I met everyone. Fitness and Fight Centre was like, Romel Luestro, who
Yep.
you've talked to before, Quillen and Cody Haddon, UFC fighter, their head coach. Steve Kennedy fought in the UFC. Some of the guys that train there, honestly, anyone who was anyone in Perth at that time had trained at like Fitness and Fight Centre.
That was the place.
Yeah, and I was just like the kid, like that was just watching and learning, and like you look back now and it's like, you know, they like fought to the death in sparring, and it's like silly. But you look back, like it was Brian Ebersol, UFC fighter, big Impact Australian MMA pioneer as well. It was just like, yeah, what I learned, I'm not going to act like I was doing rounds with them like I was a kid, but it was like what I saw was just like it like instilled what it took to sort of get to that next level. Later realized I wasn't willing to do it, but I knew what it would take to get to that next level. So yeah, that was my introduction. And obviously I can go on and on for ages about it, but I almost just sort of gypsied my way around different gyms and whatnot. But yeah, the actual start of it, Fitness and Fight Centre.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a way to start. Like, you're around some big names that you just mentioned there. And at the time, you might not have even have known it. But like, that is really, really good. And also, I was going to ask you about Stephen Kennedy. How impactful was he on your journey and maybe some of the other guys at the gym, kind of mentoring you, teaching you, and what did you learn from those guys?
I was going to say, any stories you've heard, I was never involved, and whatever you saw from him, I was not there. No, Steve was everything, because he's the guy that if you're shit, he can just make you less shit. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, he's got this like real tough way of teaching you in just like the kindest way. And strictly speaking, like MMA and teaching people, he gives up like so much of his time. And he understands the dweebiness inside of a lot of fighters. Because not everyone is just like tough, come from a tough neighborhood or kind of can scrap at any point. Like, it's like some kids are just, man, I just want to like maybe learn how to defend myself, or I want to be a world champion, but like I'm just a kid, like, and I just really like the sport. He's really good at taking that and showing you what is necessary to make it to the next level in the kindest way possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, nice. And, you know, that it's good to have that, especially, you know, someone that's willing to give up your time. I've trained at a few gyms around Perth and like more boxing. That's kind of like where my martial arts started, was in boxing. And yeah, I got to know a lot of different coaches, and till this day, the best coach I ever had was the first coach I had, Richard Davis. He's the owner of Ring Sport, and he was good because he gave up his time, and he was like, you know, that's the best way to learn, and that's really good to hear. Now, we'll jump into your media career, because this links in with obviously martial arts and what you're doing now. What age did you discover the love you had for media? Was it like, you know, as long as you can remember, or did it kind of just come out of nowhere and you're like, oh, I actually kind of like this?
Nah, I've got a direct moment, direct day, direct minute and second of basically anything that has ever pivoted in my entire life. I don't know why I'm really big at noticing like those pivotal moments where you change whatever you're doing in life to go do something else, because I've always been all or nothing. So if I change something and it goes to nothing, I remember that point, because that's the point it quote unquote loses, and then you have to kind of go to something else. It was when I just turned 22, and I'd given myself until 22 to make the NBA. Because college basketball, normally at 22 you're done. You finish college, like you're a senior, whatever, you're done. And weirdly, I made this rule with myself. I was like, you can neglect everything in life and focus on making it to the NBA, which, look, I understand how it sounds ridiculous, but like, try telling 16-year-old Mitchell this, right? That I was going to make the NBA, but I said at 22, like, you're done. And if you're not there or at a good enough level, like if you're close, keep going. But if you're not there, you're done, you're out, you go do something else in life. And at that point, I'd also started stand-up comedy, and I was like doing like relatively well at it. And basketball, I was not. Like I would work so hard at basketball, and I wouldn't start. I wouldn't even get minutes. I couldn't do anything. I just couldn't put it together. And I was becoming like quite bitter. My friends would make teams or would make shots or would get minutes, and I'd be like, oh, that should be me. And I was like, I hate that. And I was like, I hated who I was like becoming. And then this sort of, I had to kind of find another job, something else to do. And my biggest thing was like, I want to avoid getting a real job. And that was literally my MO for years. I was like, I want to avoid getting a real job. Parents wanted me to go to uni. And I was like, how can I study something but not do anything? And at Murdoch Uni, it was like it was created for me. It had not, I think it happened maybe a year before, and it lasted a year after I graduated. They had a radio degree. Nice. Not at TAFE, at uni, a radio degree.
Yeah, right.
So I got into that, and that was like, from that moment, I went from wanting to be in the NBA to wanting to be the next like Hamish and Andy. So
you got hooked straight away.
Oh, straight away. That moment I was just relentless, dog with a bone, like made my own show, pitched it to like radio stations, like all that sort of stuff.
Nice.
All the way up until I was chasing it until maybe March 23rd, 2022.
Very good with dates.
When it all ended. And and then I got made redundant, and it was kind of the end of the course of chasing radio. And I think it was 8 years. Like it was a long time. Like, and I just went, time to do something else. It was literally like that. So,
yeah, nice. Yeah. And I guess what are your actual like favorite aspects of media? I mean, you said that like, you got hooked straight away, but you've gone on to do commentating, heaps of interviewing, and I think even some writing as well. So like, what part of it kind of grabbed you and you were like, I like that, or was it just the whole thing?
How much time did you spend on my life?
It's funny. No guest has ever asked me that before, but and I'd find myself doing quite a bit of research on these guests. But
I think it's cool because I don't know if you like. I'm sure you've seen my interview style. Everyone's like, "How do you just sound like?" You're finding it out when we're finding it out. I'm like, because I am. I don't know shit about anyone. Like I go against all those rules of researching and learning and asking the right questions. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How'd you get that?
No, it's
good. You're a fighter. Oh, cool. But that's me naturally. And this will tie back into the question and what you said is the fact that I'm naturally inquisitive and I love storytelling. Like nothing in this world matters. It only matters because we make it matter.
Yeah.
Like Dana White always says it all the time, UFC president, like the ball going through the net only means something because we made it mean something. And I will go one further. He says getting punched in the face means something, and it does. But it means so much more when there's a story.
Yeah.
And I found out a long time ago, and I had this basketball coach when I was 15, and he was trying to talk me into coaching. This is at 15. That's how much I sucked at basketball. He was like, no, coach. He said to me, he was like, there are other ways to impact the game that's not on the court. And it always stuck with me. And what he kind of meant by it was like, you can play, like you can be a role player and maybe you'll be a pretty good role player and you'll have a nice little career. He's like, or you can go and become a coach. And he's like, and what I've seen from you, he's like, I think you'll be one of the best coaches ever. And he's like, and then you'll impact all of these players and these lives forever. And then all of a sudden it's not just your life that did well, it's 30 others or something like that, right? And that's kind of where a lot of this came from is when I started MMA, I did it to learn self-defense. And I'm not kidding. This is the same guy that wanted to make the NBA. To this day, when I'm hitting pads, right, or I'm rolling in jiu-jitsu, for that 5 minutes, I'm world champion, man. I'm the best in the world. Ain't no one beating me.
Yeah.
When I stop, I then go, I've got to go pick up the kids, or like I really wouldn't mind a Mars bar right now. And it's like those little things are why you don't become world champion, because the difference between me and Jack Della is not in that 5 minutes of, and I'm talking mentally, definitely not physically, but in that 5 minutes, me and Jack Della think the same. The difference is I turn it off and he doesn't. Yeah. And that's how you become the greatest at what you do.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm not, and that's why he is.
Yeah.
And I've always noticed that with my ability to turn it off, what I have never not been able to turn off is the fact that when things happen, man, I feel things so deeply. right? And with men and all that sort of stuff, that turns into, I don't know how to control and I want to punch a wall or whatever it ends up being, right? But if you can harness that and you can find out where your passion goes, like, man, I cry in movies all the time. Like, I love watching pro wrestling because of the stories, and I get involved in it. I love watching, like, man, little kids soccer. When a kid kicks a goal, it brings a tear to my eye. It's like, and I always thought I was just like overly sensitive, like a little bit of a girl. Like, I always hated it. And then as I got older, I realized that it is like a great honor to be able to feel things so deeply. The fact that, and it does suck at times, like I'll cry harder than the average person. But the best thing about that is my dad always taught me it was about biorhythms, which is biorhythms, right? I always said biorhythms, so we kept that forever. But it's about as high as you go as low as you go type thing. And it's like, if it's negative and you think, oh no, I'm thinking of ending it, hang on. Because if you can feel that deeply when it's low, you're going to be able to feel that deeply when it's high.
Yeah.
And I just found a way to ride that. So once again, to sort of circle back to why, I had the ability to tell stories and put the sort of cherry on top of what other people were doing, and I could make whatever they were doing seem just bigger. And in basketball, I was a guy that was the assist guy. I made the pass.
Yeah.
And so he hits the shot. I felt good. And I'm blessed with that. Like, I get joy out of that. I'm very lucky that helping someone, don't get me wrong, it's selfish. Like, it's like you made that shot because of me. But it's like, it's that thing of like, I get joy out of that. So there's a clip that always circles around when Jack Dellas fights, right? It's his eternal MMA title bout against Alden Bates, right? Knocks him out. One of the cleanest, slickest knockouts you'll ever see. Folds him over. Alden Bates, one of the most scariest men that ever walked the planet, right? Knocks him out. And there's me in the background going, oh, Jack Dellas, just put Alden Bates to sleep. And what actually Eternal has cut out is me going, and it's guaranteed him a spot in the UFC. Like, that moment for me is like I got to be a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine, I'm not saying it made it any better because if anything, people mute it, right? But when he knocks him out, if I just went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that was good.
Like, it doesn't, like, it's 99.9999% Jack Dellas. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's like, if you can just put that little bit of mayo on it and just give him that little push into the wave, it's like, it's special, man. And it's like, some guys have come up and said that to me, like commentating, interviewing, whatever it is. They're like, hey, like, thanks for asking me that question, or like, thanks for kind of really hamming me up or really doing it type thing. And it's like, that's pretty cool to sort of help them be kind of who I wanted to be when I was a kid, which was the star. And now I'm not. I'm very much the Robin helping out Batman.
Yeah, I love that, man. That is a great story. And I just want to go back to mentality. You spoke a little bit about that and comparing it to JDM. And, you know, I think a moment where I realized someone, you know, you mentioned that there's that like off switch and you're able to like, you know, switch it off, where JDM, he doesn't switch it off. Like, that's his mentality, right? I think someone who, and obviously you know this person very well, Quillan Sourkild, I was lucky enough to make like a doco on him right before he made the UFC, and I captured like his last Eternal fight. And this is actually when I really got into MMA, was because of Quillan. And I remember I asked all the athletes I ever interviewed, whether it's on this show or other podcasts I've done, I always ask them, what's the number one thing that your sport has taught you in life and you've been able to apply to other areas in life? And Quillan was the first person that couldn't answer it, because he said, this is my life. Like, this is what I do. And he was kind of staggering. He's like, oh, I can't answer that. Like, this is all I know. And that's when I realized, I'm like, damn, like, there's guys out there that just have this mentality, and that's how they're able to do what they do and succeed.
Yeah.
Whether that's in media, fighting, whatever it is, it works, which is very, very inspiring. Now, going on more into your media career, I want to talk a little bit about cage announcing and actually, you know, stepping in there. That is so interesting to me, like seeing that, because was it like, were you nervous the first time you did that? And like, how did that opportunity actually come about?
Oh, it's one of my favorite stories and favorite subjects to talk about. It is without a doubt, the most petrifying thing I've ever done in my life. Like without a doubt, the amount of litres of vomit I lost in the bathrooms of the WA Italian Club or HBF Stadium. Oh, mate, just ridiculous. Like, because there was this thing in before I go into how I like actually like were doing it, the actual feeling of it is, once again, lowest of lows, highest of highs. I've said the wrong name before. I've gone blank. I've sat there and not known what to say. In a moment where two guys are about to do the most primal thing humans can do, and they have sacrificed their entire lives for like a month and the skill set of years to get to that moment. And it's my job to hype them up like nothing else and then get out of their way. It's petrifying, because if you stuff up, what if I'm introducing you, you're like, man, I'm going to kill him. I'm absolutely killing you. Oh, is that my name? Oh, I didn't know that was my record. Oh, anyway. Oh, you go out there and you get knocked out. I feel like it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like, it's in a weird way, it's like that was the level of pressure I put on myself. Now, I stand by that when you watch old Eternal and those ring announcing clips, I still stand by the audio isn't mixed as great. I swear I was better live. But it is, mate, I was not good at it. I was not good at it. I was passionate. It was my way in, because very similar to you, I did a documentary at uni on Steve Kennedy. It was actually when he lost to Richie Walsh at UFC 193 when Ronda Rousey got head kicked by Holly Holm at Etihad Stadium in Melbourne. And I did a whole doco on it and everything with this, and it got around. It did okay, and then Eternal used to be at the WA Italian Club in Perth, and they were in a ring because the cage was banned. Yeah. And they would have someone stand on the side of the ring and film with a handy cam. Like literally just like the amount that technology, Eternal, and the whole sport has come since 2018. Yeah, wow. So it's massive. Yeah. And I used to hold on the side of the ring with a handy cam, and then I'd edit the footage, and then the fights would be up on YouTube. And I was watching it once, and a guy called CJ Rose, who is like synonymous with WA combat sports, he's an amazing ring announcer, and he would do it. And then I was chatting to Ben Vickers, who is JDM's head coach on Scrappy MMA, and he co-director of Eternal. And I was chatting to him about, I think maybe like the second time I filmed things, and I said, you know what, I reckon I could do that ring announcing. And he was like, oh, like really? Like we've always been looking for someone. We don't think like CJ is like exactly what we want. And I was like, what's he make? And he told me the number. And I said, which is the doggest thing to do in media. I went, a bit of a jeeper. I got to tell him like, yeah, right. And look, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if they just thought like I had a little bit more style, or like maybe I would be good, or whatever it was. But I did it I did over 75 fights, I think it was, which is like,
that's a lot.
That's quite a lot. That's a good, actually might even be more. It might actually be closer to 100. Or I've done Perth, obviously, Melbourne. I did Adelaide. Like I've done, many different cities. I then moved on to other promotions and other like sports, all that sort of stuff. I've done it all, and then it all just it transitioned from there to go away from ring announcing once again. When I was doing it, I wanted to be the best, so I found Bruce Buffer's like email. I found like Dana White's. I like sent them tape of me all the time. Like I look back now, I'm like, you were horrendous. What were you doing? But like, you can't stop that inside of like wanting to be the, like, it's it's a curse.
Yeah,
wanting to be the man is a curse.
I think it's a blessing and a curse. Because like that's instilled in you. Like no matter what you go and do, you like you said, you want to be the best. So,
high as you go, as low as you go, eh?
Well, look, I think you give yourself some credit. Like you said nearly 100, maybe more fights. Like that shows that you had something and you were good. So,
and I shouldn't downplay it either in a way of. Being a ring announcer for Eternal is without a doubt, and I have very publicised. Like I will always have my things with Eternal. We both love each other and hate each other in the same sentence. Like I love those guys like nothing else. We just clash because they're a promotion. I'm a opinionated media guy that has been forced into the top journalism position by default.
Yeah.
I wish someone would come along and take that away from me. And I do think young Joel Rasmussen from Southern Cross, I think he's going to take that from me one day. And then I can move on to the things I want to do. But someone's going to break the news right now. And it happens to be me. And unfortunately that pisses people off at times. But going back on to like what Eternal did for me is it gave me authority, right? So I come here, right? I don't really know what you do or who you are or vice versa. And it's like, but I just sort of trust it and you gamble it, right? But people would accept interviews from me when I started my podcast because they're like, oh, you're the ring announcer, right? Like, because that's how I had them on Instagram or had them on Facebook or whatever it was. So it's like the amount of like respect I got because I already had an in, and you would know this as well, that when you're dealing with fighters and people in the MMA scene, they're very closed off. If you can get your way in, best friend, they'll give you everything.
Yeah.
But they keep that wall up. And I will be indebted for my entire career to what me and Eternal MMA did and kind of what they did for me in that giving me sort of a chance to go out and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is a bit about that credibility, I guess. Like I know when I started doing this sort of stuff, it was 3 years ago. I literally started interviewing in my bedroom. I got like some cheap mics and I got one of my mates who was playing like high level footy at the time. And I said, mate, like I just want to do a podcast, like just come over. And we did like 10 minutes and I loved it. I was shocking at it.
So you invited people to come over with recording equipment for 10 minutes in your bedroom?
Now that I say that out loud, that's I didn't have a studio or anything, so it was like,
it's fine. You have to use that one too.
Yeah, just my bedroom. No, but and then like you start from there, and the longer I went, like it became a little bit easier to get like those high level guests. But like you said, not just MMA fighters, but any athlete you really try and approach, they're always going to be a bit closed off, especially because they're like, who the heck is this guy? A lot of the interviews I was doing, I was still in school, so like no one really took me seriously.
They're my favorite. I love kids. I love kids who are just in high school. I'm like, yeah, right, anytime, whatever. Yeah. Like you don't even know what you're doing. Is that mic on? I'm in. Let's go.
No, literally. I had so many of those experiences of just like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to make it look like I knew what I was doing. But that's...
Is that this? The whole studio?
Well, this is, another level for me. Being in this studio, thanks to Backchat, of course, it really is something new for me and I'm loving it,
I must say, just like shout out to that, because is it Will Schofield that runs it?
Yes, Will Schofield, yes.
Great guy. He's taken many interviews from me because he's much more famous and better. But this whole setup, I have worked on every major commercial radio station. I've worked on Channel 7. I've worked in ESPN and in areas. I've done so many different things. This is by far the best setup I've ever been in front of. So
the guys, Will and the guys will love to hear that. Yeah. So I will let them know for sure. Now we're going to go on to some exciting stuff. Australian MMA. I want to know where that idea came about. What made you want to start that? It's grown so much, and I follow the page. It's where I get a lot of my Australian MMA news. So, so likewise with a lot of people. Where did that kind of come about?
It started with, I've always had the dream because, I love this sport, and anyone that loves this sport knows that it is not given the love it deserves. And I always found that a lot of MMA fighters were outcasts, right? There were guys that, weren't athletic enough, or that otherwise they'd be playing footy. Or it was always like that. That was always what MMA was. It was this like outcast sort of sport. Now, obviously, that's not the case. You're seeing like insane athletes like Quillan Saukiel, Cody Haddon, Jack Dellas, like these dudes that are just so athletic. But back in the day, it wasn't. You were just like a tough dude. And as we sort of made that transition as well, like I really wanted it to get more love because like many guys in my age bracket, like I'm 33, when we were teenagers, you had to work so hard to get it on TV or get it on online or whatever it was. It was just way too difficult to make it happen. Mainstream media wouldn't accept it. Think about it, the cage was banned in WA. Think about this, we pay over $15 million to the UFC to get events, right?
Yeah.
And in 7 or 8 years ago, the cage was banned.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how far the sport's come. But I then also coincided of because I was training to still stay fit and, for those 5 minutes wanted to be world champion and all that sort of stuff, right? But then on this sort of parallel sort of trajectory, I was hustling my radio show. Like I was trying to just make it. Like I was worked for Triple M, worked at Mix 94.5, eventually Nova, like I mentioned as well, Channel 7, like all these mainstream media, and none of them knew anything about the sport.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre to me. And I just said, whenever I get big enough, I am going to be the guy. And I would. In radio and breakfast shows, I would always sneak in something about MMA. Oh, there's UFC on this weekend. Make sure you check it out. Like there was always like I would as much as I could do that. And so I kept doing that. And then when I was kind of in the fizzling parts of my radio career, when, they kept telling you had potential, but they weren't like pulling the trigger, you know what I mean? They told you were going to be great, but, they didn't give you the $1 million contract or anything like that. So you're kind of like, am I? It's like when you're the partner that doesn't get the ring, but he's like, nah, babe, I still love you. And you're like, well, prove it. And then I sort of just took out a swing, and there was a guy who gave me my first original shot in radio, who is a legend to this day, Mike Fitzpatrick. He used to run Triple M. He gave me the same opportunity with a podcast. They had a new podcast app, and they were looking for podcasts, and I actually pitched to him. I said, hey, I want to do one about mixed martial arts. And I pitched it so hard. Like, I was like, I could get Volk on it like immediately. If I don't have their number, I have like the guy's number who has his number.
Yeah.
And 100% that last bit's true. But that guy would never have given me that number ever. But yeah, so I pitched so hard to get it, and it was for Triple M, and we called it Triple MMA, which
That's
is
actually sick.
Probably the only reason why it got over the line, because it was so amazing.
That is so good.
Yeah, and I kind of I was like, oh, cool, I just want to chat to fighters, like almost like a Conan O'Brien, like just a real like David Letterman, just, hey, yeah, what's going on? Like, how's the fight coming up? Great, cool. And then like we mentioned earlier is that as we continued, I accidentally by default became a journalist. I was never a journalist at all. I left radio. I was a shit talker on breakfast radio. I wasn't even a music jock. I was literally like, I was the Hamish to the Hamish and Andy. I was just like, oh yeah, the other day I drank off milk. Like that was everything, right?
Yeah.
And so I then, when I left radio, I had to find a job, and I got a job in finance reporting for Hot Copper, which is like, oh, the Dow Jones is up 3%. Like, you should all invest in gold.
I did see some of that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's so horrible. And then from then, I jumped into Channel 7. So I just weirdly became a journalist by accident, just because like they needed people. But anyway, so like the scene kind of like needed it. And I've always had a bit of, I'm not tough by any means, but like if you're going to say something to me, like I'll stand my ground, and I know enough that I could hold you off killing me until security broke it up. Well, the average man might just die. Where I'm like, I know enough jiu-jitsu or enough boxing. I can stay there.
Yeah.
We can wrestle for a little bit, and then hopefully someone will save me. But yeah, I just had the balls to sort of announce shit that other people wouldn't, or ask questions that other people wouldn't. And also, I'm pretty dumb. So I'll ask you a question, and everyone will be like, I can't believe you just asked that. But in my head, I just really wanted to know the answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so when you left your like team, was your coach mad at you? Like, why'd you leave? Like, and I heard he was with your wife. Is that true? Like, it's genuinely like, I don't know if it's like CTE, because like trust me, not a talented fighter, probably eaten as many punches as someone in their career, because I cannot stop any of them. But like, yeah, I just kind of had that almost like autistic way of asking the question everyone wanted to know.
Yeah.
And then you'd get the information and you'd go, and I learned a lot from radio and all that on like marketing, you know, skills and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. And I would just put it out there. And I am so lucky. I owe everything, not just to the fight fans. That's sort of a given. But you can talk some shit and fight fans will still just like you. I owe my entire success to fighters that gave me the time that didn't need to. A big one for me is like a guy like Jack Jenkins in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's one of the first guys to ever really give me time and deliberately, and he doesn't even know I know this, but he deliberately would give me like clickbait, like a real viral line, knowing it would like help me.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I'm like still friends with him to this day. But like, there's a lot of guys like that helped me because I can't do anything. If the fighter doesn't want to answer a question, I don't want to answer a question. If they don't want to do an interview, well, who am I? I had like 200 followers at the time and all this sort of stuff. Eventually left the radio and the podcast and everything and did it on my own. I had to change the name. And I was like, well, you can't beat Triple MMA. That's creative. So then I went, what's the opposite? The most obvious name.
Yeah.
Australian MMA.
Yeah,
and it didn't exist. The website was there. I was like, this is insane. Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to sort of kind of ramble on a bit to get to your point is like, I wanted to use my skills that I learnt in mainstream media and use my understanding and my knowledge that I learnt in martial arts to help bridge the two worlds. And this is getting very like, Mitch, our savior. Like, you're like, I understand how it sounds, but I just wanted to do like my part in making these guys who I look up to get treated by the rest of the world the way I see them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome because you did it at a really good time because you look at the growth of MMA in Australia now, it's like rapid, you know. You're seeing so many more guys make the UFC from Australia and we're now starting to make a statement in the UFC, which is so good to see. And I think having people like yourself cover it is what really gets it out there as well. So yeah, it's something you should be very proud of. And, that leads me to my next question is the Australian MMA issue 1 and 2. Issue 1 is back there with Sourkild on the cover, of course.
The world's greatest cover.
That is elite. But yeah, I just want to ask you, that's a very recent projects working on that. What was that like working with Sourkild and JDM for the covers for that?
JDM, expensive. No, it's the JDM is great because like I've known him for a long time, and once again he's another guy that like helped out very very early on. And even when I've had clashes with like Eternal, which is like essentially his coach, he's never
Ben.
He's always one of those guys, and I love Ben like more than he'll ever know. But like when that sort of stuff happens, Jack never was like, get out of here, you loser. Like he's one of those loyal guys. It's like, you covered me from the start. I'll kind of help you out now type thing. Sourkild, very similar. Like me and his manager, Jasmine Frank, go way back. She was like the photographer of Eternal when I was a ring announcer. Like that's how I met her.
Yeah.
Now she's obviously got a successful management company. Quillan Sourkild's head coach, Ramel Luestro, first guy I ever trained with in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, wow.
He wrist locked me on my first day. So yeah, always fun. So yeah, there was like a little bit of that. And there's always a connection. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it was a perfect time and like I said to you when you first start a podcast, there's no reason for these guys. And I hate this more than anything when young interviewers get upset when a fighter doesn't want to talk to you. Your exposure doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Your exposure doesn't mean shit. They don't need it. They don't. They're helping you. Yeah. Like, get it through your thick head. Like, none of this, like, covering the sport, blah, 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 blah. Like, maybe mine helps a guy that is maybe contending for the Eternal title, right? Before that, maybe he needs me. Maybe. But after, like, no.
Yeah.
Do you think Jack Della needs me? Do you think Quillan Sourkild needs me?
Yeah.
They don't need me. And that's the thing that's like, and I'm 10 times bigger than like any of these other little nerds in their bedrooms or like garages sort of. Yeah. It's just silly, right? So at the end of the day, these relationships are what matters. And when I was kind of coming up in doing this and I did the magazine and I wanted to, because I've always wanted to monetize this, because my only goal in this has always really to be to pay my bills doing something that I love, right?
Yeah.
Now, deep down, we've always had this conversation. I want to build an empire. I want to create like my own network. I want to have my finger on all the pulse. I want to make sure that every fighter in the regional professional level is essentially living a payable wage, and we treat our regional MMA fighters the way we treat the NBL basketball players.
Yeah, well,
everyone is employed. Everyone gets paid. That's the only thing they do. I will not stop until we have that. And then, of course, the NBA, the UFC. Like, it's like it all sort of goes in together. But, like, I won't stop until I get that aspect out of it. So I need to, like, monetize this as well. So I need to find a way where it's of value to everyone else, but we can also make some money. I obviously look after a lot of the guys in the magazine, cover athletes, work out deals, all that stuff. Because I want to be fair as well. Like, there's a way, trust me, there's a way you can screw people in this game, but and everyone will attest to this. It is a small scene. It will come back and it will bite you in the ass. And at the end of the day, these are not guys that sue you. These are guys that will beat you.
Yeah.
And I want to take the people that have helped me as well. And Quillan Saki was massive at that. He is an absolute superstar. But another reason why I started this entire podcast was I hated that there were no interviews. And then they're chucked into a media day or a press conference at the highest level. There was no way to stuff up.
Yeah.
Where if you stuff up now, I'll grab a little quote, I'll run with it, and you'll hate me. But in 2 or 3 years when you're in the UFC and someone else throws you a dodgy question, you're like, I know how to answer this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, does that sound like the wankiest, like, I'm helping you? Yes, it does. But it's like, in a way, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of be the stepping stone for them. The whole brand has taken on a mind of its own as well. But yeah, so Quillan Saki being the cover athlete made a lot of sense because we were similar at the time, kind of coming up together where I wouldn't go and get Rob Whittaker or Volkanovski because it's like, once again, it's of no value to them.
Yeah.
There was value there for Quillan. Obviously, like, paid him what I could. It was not a lot. And I was like, look, you can have, like, if I make money, you make money. So it's like, here's the percentage, right? I'll tell you this right now. Like, I've lost money on both of the magazines. Like, but there's a quality standard that I want, and I won't dip below it.
Yeah.
If you read those stories, they're some of the best stories you'll ever hear from fighters. And that's not to say it won't make money, and there's ways to make money off it. Sign copies, blah, 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 blah. This gets into the business side of it.
Yeah. But
in terms of, like, there's a reason why magazines aren't around anymore. I'll tell you that now. Everyone's like, oh, I love it. It's great to hold. I'm like, cool, buy it so I can make more. And I'm actually currently looking for a Chinese supplier out there that can do it a lot cheaper. So if anyone knows anyone, let me know. But yeah, basically a long-winded answer, mate. But the creativity that went into that, it was just like, a lot of this is like bootlegged shit too. Like, it was like a photographer we knew who could do it for cheap. We used most of the money we had to buy a Devlin cigar. They're literally like $200. Like, it's like we didn't know where else to go. We actually like lit a match to make the smoke. Like, it wasn't like cinematic.
Yeah, okay.
It was like proper like smoke. We nearly set the smoke alarm off. I put most of the money I had into printing it and like the but it's just like money. I never made enough money to care about money. That was a whole thing. It was like, yeah, like first magazine was 20 grand. It cost me 20 grand, right? 20 grand is a lot, but 20 grand is nothing when you're 80 and you look back. And the fun thing about Australia is most of the time you don't really go into the negative unless you're a bad person. Like, as in, you really screw a debt up or something like that, and then you owe forever and you can never get out of it. Most people lose all their money, have to move back in with their parents, get a job at Woolies, build themselves back up again.
Yeah.
And I fortunately have a bit of that. So I'm going to take a few more gambles in life. And don't get me wrong, my own kid. I got 3 stepkids. I got a beautiful partner that deserves an amazing life, right? And she lets me do this, and she lets me spend our money on stuff like this, and that's really, really cool. And that's why I love this stuff. But if we lose it all, we'll start again.
Yeah. love that mentality.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
good.
It sounds almost like almost like middle class privilege. And like, don't get me wrong, like it's not like my mum and dad are not like, they're not rich, but I was never poor either. And I always had great parents. So they, mate, when I told them I was, 4'7", 15 and wanted to make the NBA, mum and dad were like, go get it.
Damn.
Like, it's like that. Yeah. I look back now and I listen to my friends and I listen to people talk about their parents, and I'm like, man, I hit the jackpot. Like, it does. Brings a tear to my eye. Like, my dad, everyone wonders why I'm so arrogant, like, and I'm full of confidence. And I'm like, blame my mum and dad, man. I'm the funniest guy. I'm the most handsome boy. Like, all of it. Don't get me wrong. I look back and I'm like, you are an idiot. But it's like, I genuinely walk around, and in those moments of doubt, and I've been through some shit personally last couple of years. When I like look in the mirror, I like genuinely think that I'm just the greatest man that ever lived. And it's that gets you out of those moments. It's not necessarily going, oh, I'm not that good, but I'm going to pick myself up and just keep going. No. In those moments when you're like the lowest you've ever been in your life, those are those moments where you go, no, this is who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're the man. Like, you're the man you show the world. And it's like, and I feel like a lot of guys understand that more than anything. Is it's like, sometimes you really got to fake it before you make it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Deep down, we're like,
yeah, panicking.
Yeah, it's petrifying. Like, you're a young fella, but like as a father, it's scary, man. It's really, really scary. Like, everyone depends on you and all that sort of stuff. And now I have, an MMA media outlet that, man, it could all end tomorrow. Like, it's I don't think people realize, like, it's successful, but man, it's built on hustle. Like, it's built on hustle, and it's built on people caring. If you guys stop caring tomorrow, this goes away. Yeah.
There's a pressure that comes with having that privilege.
It's a business now. Like, I pay people.
Yeah.
Like, then no one's like necessarily a full-time employee, but like, I consistently pay people.
Yeah.
And I consistently have bills, and I pay money to get people, and I have debts to the business. And if I don't pay it, my personal life will have to.
Yeah.
And that takes money away from my beautiful partner and our kids and all that sort of stuff. That's scary. And it's like, so as a man, you got to kind of step up and go, and it helps, because when you got things to lose, you act differently.
Yeah, that's true.
But also when you got nothing to lose, you act differently as well.
Yeah.
And I weirdly have both.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it really is about the grind and the hustle and making sacrifices. And I think that's awesome that you're able to share that.
But yeah, anyway, magazine's gone great.
Well, I will say I really do love that magazine. The quality is great. I've read some of it, and it is good. So
shout out to, I'd always skip over him. Tom Atkinson is like the real like silent killer of the mag. Like, he is the one that really, honestly, I know the guys, I know the stories, I know all this sort of stuff, but he is actually the guy that puts a lot of pen to paper and makes it all happen. And he's the guy that picks and packs and sends the magazines.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I look after him bloody well. But mate, he honestly, blood, sweat and tears. That guy's absolute. So shout out to him. He's an absolute backbone of Australian MMA. He doesn't get the credit. I do, which is how I like it.
Well, Tom, you're listening. Credit to you, because it's a bloody good magazine. And listeners, go and check it out, because I cannot recommend it more. It is really good.
At shop.australianmma.com.au.
There you go. Cheeky plug. Do you plan on doing an issue 3 anytime soon? Or?
Yeah, look, I've always been really big on, and this is the scary thing of having quote unquote like successful product that people want to be a part of, which is like, Australian MMA, if I stop covering it, people genuinely are like, oh, you and that promotion not getting along. Do you not like this? Do you not like these guys? Why don't you like this guy? Can you talk to him? I'm like, guys, I'm trying to balance this with everything else. Like, magazine included, like I just told you, like it's an expensive magazine that cost me a lot of money. And there's a way I can make money, like make a profit on it, but I'm just tweaking a few things right now. But I'm trying to do every quarter.
Yep.
So I'm trying to go, like at least, and that's a very loose quarter. Sometimes it's turning into thirds. But I've noticed more than anything, and I feel like any marketing person will tell you about like podcasts or Instagram or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, post every day. No. Post whenever you got good shit.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Like, I mean, do it a lot, but like only ever post good shit. And that's the thing with the magazine. Like there is a reason why I think the first one's 40 pages and the next one is something like 68.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't know if there'd be a third. And we had such great stories. I didn't want to sit on them and wait. I was like, mate, I could die tomorrow. Like I was like, and then this story never reaches the light of day. So to answer your question, I would love for them to be a third. I want it to make sense financially, and I'll probably still do it just because that's how my ego works, and B, at the end of the day, like I love this. I love it. Even if I was gone broke from it, and you can talk to any promoter, any gym, any coach ever. If you looked back on how many dollars you spent, no.
Well, I'll be looking forward to it if you do when you make an issue 3. It's going to be good.
Who do you want to see on the cover?
Oh, geez. Well, you got Southfield and JDM on the first 2. I think you could go big on the next one. I think you could go maybe a Whitaker.
Wow.
I reckon
okay.
That would be good, but I mean.
I feel like I've built my my name off of like riding the sort of wave of like the younger guys into this is the other thing. Keep in mind, Whitaker, I offered like something like 5% of the magazine, right?
Yeah.
And this is issue 1. 5% of the magazine to Rob Whitaker, which in my head was like $1 million because it was going to make so much money. He was probably like, that's not worth it to me. But I said that, right? Big, and all I wanted from him was a story. No, he's not on the cover.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. 5% of an entire magazine, that's gross. That's like before tax, before anything that I paid, before expenses. I was like, Rob Whitaker, you can have it. And he said no. He's like, I just want to help out the sport.
Damn.
So it's like that. A guy that is at that level, I was like, Rob Whitaker, man, he's the man for
Humble
that.
guy.
But yeah, like I want to be different. How many magazine covers has he been on?
Yeah, I think that
GQ, all that sort of stuff.
Potentially,
I wanna go to the big guys.
A Cody Hudden could be good. He's on the come up. There's a few guys, but either way, it will be bloody good. I just want to get onto a bit of you actually covering the UFC, which is, I imagine would just be a dream come true. You're now at the point where you interview UFC fighters. What is that like? Taking that leap from the local scene to the big stage.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because I started at Triple M. I started in the UFC. So
okay. Yeah.
So I think I did, the first time I ever did interviews, I did Eternal, and then the night after I did UFC 284.
Yeah, okay.
Volk versus Islam.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I literally I had 110 followers on Instagram. And it's like, look, it was funny because it was this thing of like, I think it was not rags to riches. It's riches to rags to riches. And that's a more motivating story.
Yeah.
There's nothing like having caviar taste with beer money because you will do anything to get caviar money.
Yeah.
And that is where if you've never tasted caviar, you don't know how good it is. You might be okay with beer money.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the thing that like I noticed is I was like, this is great. The UFC would reach out to me. Like I hit them up about like, oh, we got this podcast called Triple MMA. Of course, they were like, oh, amazing name. You're so creative, Mitch. Oh, it's going to be amazing. But they reached out to me and I had like Jimmy Crute, I had Jack Jenkins, I had Shannon Ross at the time, I had Justin Tuffer, I had Junior Tuffer, I had Rob Whitaker. I had all lined up within 2 weeks. The UFC got me everyone.
Wow.
Looking back now, that is like your first date out of high school being Miranda Kerr. Like you don't understand what you've got. You think it's all going to be like this.
Yeah.
You look back and you're like, oh no, this was a dream come true. It's exactly what you said. So when I lost it, when I left Triple M, they're not. The UFC is lovely and I appreciate them, but they are a value-first business. And if you can't offer them anything, you are gone.
Yeah.
And
cutthroat.
all of a sudden, my emails did not get responded to. But it made it sweet. I'm glad they did. And they can pretend that they didn't, you know what I mean? But they did. They know that there was not as much value for them to liaise with me as much, which is understandable. I get the business. It makes sense. So, but that means, and I would message them, email them, maybe when I had 500 followers, I'd email them, get nothing back. 1,000 followers, email them, still wouldn't get anything back. At 2,000 followers, I'd email them, and then maybe I'd get we can't facilitate that interview, but thanks for reaching out. And at 5,000, it slowly grew to the point now, man, where the UFC will reach out to me directly and respond to stuff oh man, there's news coming out, says this.
Yeah, that's so good.
Just make sure you maybe try and do it this direction. And don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for every opportunity. And I talked about before how the UFC, the UFC don't need you, right? But I'm also not a bitch, and I'm never gonna forget. So I take it for everything it's worth as well. I'm never going to be one of these guys. It's thanks to UFC. I'm so happy that you guys had me. I'm never going to ask anything that I'm not supposed to ask. Anyway, thank you. It's no, mate, I can do this from my bedroom. And that goes for any promoter on the face of the planet. It goes for any fighter. I live 2 hours south of Perth, right? You can't fly there. You have to drive there. It's if you want to come and fight me, that's a very long journey, right? Which is great. Some might do it. But point being is with technology these days, man, I can do it from anywhere. Look at a guy like MMA Guru. Yeah. He's he may as well be a convicted criminal. He is the worst human. Yeah. But he's one of the most popular guys in the world. And then now he's got this really great friendship with Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah,
He's the best flyweight of all time. Yeah. That stuff's really cool. You don't need the UFC. And this is the other thing. The UFC is cool. Don't get me wrong. It's credibility like nothing else. And I'll be honest, if anything, that's more why I'm there, is because you need to be there. But do you think my interview with Jack Jenkins after his fight is more impactful to the channel, or my interview with him in his room in the lead up is more impactful? The relationship interview is more impactful than the one the UFC gets me. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the UFC ain't turning around and going, hey, Mitch, here's Conor McGregor. The UFC doesn't give me anything I can't get myself. My time at Eternal, my time on the regional scene, my time interviewing their teammates is what got me the UFC fighter interviews, not the UFC. The UFC just knows a good thing. Yeah, for sure. They're clinging to me and they're riding the wave going, this kid might – look, I'm not going to lie. I can hurt a moment. I can hurt an event. I'm not going to tank anything. I'm not an idiot. I don't think I have this power where I can be and everyone boycott this event. I can't do that. But every little bit does matter. And I can, unfortunately, even to myself, I can influence stuff. And that's a thing that I'm learning because as you were aware, I talk nonsense and I just talk shit. And a lot of people take what I say and will run with it. And unfortunately, my opinions on certain things, which I might, I believe them to the core, what I say about fighters, promoters, anything. I like to preface it with always great respect for the sport and great respect for this and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I'm paid to say what I think. Yeah, and sure. It is what I think, and if I upset you, I'm sorry, but it is what I think. And
that's the job.
If I want the respect from the fans, I have to continue to. I've lost friends, man, in this. Honestly, I've lost. There's a story I've told before. I won't go into it too deep, just because it's long and boring. But I was really close to Harry Webb, who was the Eternal MMA lightweight champion, and mate, if fight injuries didn't get in the way, and he still might be. He'll be one of the biggest stars that we've ever had. He's an absolute highlight reel and right to his name. And he went through fight of the year, and I had to say who I thought won that fight. He won the fight, and I thought he didn't. And don't get me wrong, I get that. Like, two dudes just went to war. None of us should ever. Just everyone was great. Everyone was amazing.
This is the fight where he went into the ambulance straight after.
Yeah. And he versus Kevin Cophamel.
Yeah.
And I just thought Kevin Cophamel beat him. Do I think Harry Webb's a better fighter? I actually do. I just think Kevin Cophamel beat him in that moment. But I also prefaced it with 28 minutes of the ultimate glazing of Harry Webb that you've ever seen, right? But then they went, we don't like that you said he lost. And with that's how you become a world champion. It's you against everyone.
Yeah.
So I never had any personal sort of ill will against them. But when I lost them, that was like a big, because they were good, nice friends in a way. Like I had when his like gym got firebombed, he was like the first guy I got to interview. Like I was the first guy that got to be allowed to interview him. I interviewed him before that fight of the night, that fight of the year. Yeah. Like I was in his hotel room, in his Airbnb, chatting to him. Like,
it's more than just interviewing.
Yeah, that's his class with his manager and Dan Maudsley and Jack Jenkins at the time. It was like an amazing like opportunity, right? So I would like to say we were friends. They might say, you're never your friend type thing. But like I had held that closely, and then so to have to go on and then say, I don't think he won, broke my heart to say it. Maybe I didn't say it the right way either. I stand by that I did, but maybe I didn't. But in those moments, this is what I think people think it's just like you just come on, you talk about fighting, and then everyone's like, oh, you're the man. And it's like, no, man. Like I've lost, and I've said dumb things. Like I've said things I wasn't supposed to. I got a really shit memory. So like you'll be like, hey, Mitch, don't say this on air. And I'll be like, was I meant to say that or not? And I've said it. And like, there's been times where I've thought I needed to put a little bit more mayo on it. Not exaggerate it, but isn't like probably pull back the curtain a little too much. And I should have had like more respect for the moment, for the people that were actually there. And that's like it's ruined some friendships. And it's like, I just think some people think that it's all just, you're just laughing and it's all a great time. Like I've hurt feelings. And that actually is more, what hurts more than anything is that like, I've upset people in trying to be entertaining. And I never want to do that, because I think fighters need to know that like every single fighter is more man than I'll ever be, and more man than anyone that is ever watching. And I don't think anyone should be calling a fight a robbery, or you know what I mean? But we get stuck in this thing where you become like titans to us. You become gladiators, where we don't really think about your family. We don't really think about your mum had to watch that. Like it's like we don't really think about that sort of stuff. So I don't know why I trailed off then, but there's just something about it where it's like, I don't think people realize like that the quest to be in MMA media is like, man, you hold the voice box of a lot of people. Yeah. Because I get to say whatever I want all the time. I edit my videos. I get to edit how I want. Now I don't, and I leave a lot of shit in because I'm really big on that. But like they don't. Like this is actually very scary for me to like leave like you're an interviewer, you've got the questions there. You can edit this however you want. You put it out whenever you want. You could take I've said so much shit. You could take a quote and be like, Mitch hates Eternal, which is not true because I've prefaced it with so much other shit, right? But I've done that to people. Not in a malicious way, just as in a like, oh, it's a juicy grab way. Yeah. And then the guy like me messages you and goes, hey man, like that's not on. Now Eternal and me are like we hate each other again. And you go, oh man, I thought it was really entertaining, and you don't really notice the impact that you're having on like people's lives. And that's probably been the biggest learning thing for me is to know that like words have meaning. And like, you can play the whole, oh, well, you shouldn't have said it. And it's like, yeah, technically, but also I try my best to not stand on people to get to the top. And in a way, I feel like it's that. So when I get accused of it, sometimes it hits home. Yeah. Because I really try hard to not be that guy. But unfortunately, sometimes you also just You just are, because you've got to have, you can't sit on the fence or you'll get splinters. You know what I mean?
Some people in the media industry are just ruthless, like that. There could be there could be a 20-minute interview, like you said. They could take 20 seconds of that 20 minutes and then it makes that person look like an idiot. But in reality, it's like if you listen to the full context, the 20 minutes, it's like, well, hang on a second. So that's media.
That's my theory of it, by the way. Sorry to cut you off with it. It's like, my theory is no one is listening to your interview for 20 minutes. No one gives a shit. If that 20 seconds, they go, oh my God, he said what? Then they listen, they'll get to know the whole 20 minutes of you.
Yeah, they've just built a whole perception.
Yeah, but I can see how they're like, no, you just made me look like an idiot. And I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, it is tough with media. It's you're never going to please everyone no matter what you post. There's always
sometimes no one.
Yeah, that as well. Now, just quickly about, the UFC interviews. There was one interview I wanted to ask you about in particular, and it was Dana White. You might remember there was a question you asked him. I think this was for UFC 312 in Sydney, I believe. Oh, no. And yeah, you've asked him about, Australian media.
Yeah.
And he's at a dig, and I've seen the clip. It got around, and it was quite funny actually. But I just wanted to ask what your kind of reaction was in that moment where he's kind of had a dig at not specifically you, but Australian media, which is what you're a part of in a way.
Yeah. In that moment, what am I thinking?
Because you've got the CEO kind of coming down.
You should see it. You should see it. Like, people have done this before. I'll ask a question, right? And it only ever happens in person when I'm also in frame. But I'll often be like, so what do you think of Greg's performance? And then you'll be like, Greg, he's a giant effing C. And you watch my face do this. I smile. I literally smile like chaos is happening. And it's like, in a weird way, that is my game. Like, it's like you are looking, and I know I said the whole thing about like morality and like and looking after people and all that sort of stuff. But within the game of it, like, most people don't talk shit unless they want to, type thing.
Yeah.
Within the game of it, you can get them going, and they know it too. And Dana White knew this as well. You get them going, they know you're going to clip it. There's this little mutual like, you got me. Like, I'll keep going, but you got me. Like, I wasn't going to talk about this, but you broke me. And that was the thing with Dana White. He went off on Australian media, mainly the ABC, which are a bunch of dogs when it comes to like what they did to Jack Della was ridiculous. Like, there was 4 corners or some silly report they did. And from what I remember is that what I was told is like Jack was sitting down to talk about something else. And then they dragged him into this sort of like shit can the UFC event. And I was like, that's like ethically wrong as a journalist, as a broadcaster, as a person. And then Jack's only like, he's a star, but he's only just becoming a star. And I'm like, you've nearly derail him with his like employer. Like, I just think if Jack wants to talk shit about the UFC and he knows it, great, cool, go for it. But I was like, but when you trick him into it, I was like, that's where media, it gives us all a bad name, and that's where we do sort of deserve it. Because I cop that too, where everyone's like, clickbait, all we want is clickbait. And I'm like, no, you're just saying that because you've heard it. But yeah, going back to the Dana White thing, when he went off on it, I also knew the guy from the ABC was in the room.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I actually spared him in that moment because my follow-up comment to that was, he's in the room. And I was going to like, he's that guy. But yeah, no, he went off and he basically it's different. I don't fall under media necessarily. Like, when people go, I hate the media, they don't really hate me. They hate Channel 7, Channel 9, ABC. That's kind of what we mean, like when we say we hate the media.
Yeah.
But man, I've been in the media. I've been in Channel 7. It's gross. Like, there's a reason why I left. It lasted 6 months as a journalist at Channel 7, because when there's a car accident, your first thing is to go find the mother of the person that died and see if they want to talk. Yeah, and I understand the thought process, right? It's the similar thing to what I do. Like, I would love to talk to a guy that just lost, like, what's your thoughts? What are you going through? But it's like the way that Channel 7, this particular area did it, it was just... it was just like, it really was. It was like revolting. It was like
no morality.
You're like a vulture. And I hated it because I like storytelling. I don't actually like breaking news. I hate it. I hate it. It actually gives me anxiety. Like, yeah, it's great when a clip goes off or it's amazing and you like the guy. But when you break news, someone is getting in trouble. You break news before a promotion, that promotion's media team is upset. Yeah. Like, you always upset someone breaking news. And that's actually why I hate it. But yeah, when it, like, all that sort of stuff, when it came with Dana White, it was cool. It was cool to hear my voice in it. And there's those little bit of like fan moments where you're like, I'm having a conversation with Dana White.
Yeah, that's right.
And when I was 18, I swear this will be my only side story. But when I wasn't even 17, I found Dana White's email. This is when I first started training jiu-jitsu, first started training MMA. And I messaged him. It was just like it was back when you'd figure out someone's last name or first name and then just put like @UFC.com in it. And then emailed him and I was like, Mitchell Tinley, 18, white belt, like, remember this name. And then he literally wrote back and he was like, got it.
Oh my God.
And then I've never, ever talked to him again. And it's like, I'm waiting for just the moment of like, maybe when we do this one day and I just go, see him.
You got to show him.
Yeah, it's just like, so I'm waiting for the right time, but it's like that is, and that was me back then. Remember, like I thought I was a kid that I'd make the NBA. Like I was just like, I'm gonna be a world champion. Yeah. And Dana White's gonna know who I am.
Well, in a way, I mean, he will remember the name. Like you ended up interviewing him.
So for me, that meant a lot. Like, does Dana White care? Absolutely not. But then the cool thing as well is like people don't see the 3-hour interview I have with the 10th ranked regional middleweight. But they do see the clip of Dana White. And for Australian MMA, that's great because it makes us look like we're killing it. And if we're killing it, do you know how many people, my favorite message to receive from someone is, hey man, saw your UFC stuff. You're actually the guy that I use to keep up to date with the regional stuff. I learn a lot about regional fighters because of you. That, I've received that message maybe like a handful of times. Still to this day, the greatest message I can receive because it's like, that's what this is about. This isn't about me circle jerking myself when I get Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's like, you're not helping him. He's helping you. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But like, if you can chat to like a young Quillan Southfield and help that push as he sort of takes on Blake Donnelly for the Eternal MMA Lightweight Championship and then beats him in 42 seconds, then becomes the Southfield that we all know and love. Like, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you do it. And that shit is like, yeah, it means a lot. Like it sends like goosebumps like through my body. Like it genuinely does. Like to impact a sport and a community to that level, and just to be a very, very small part of it is professionally the best thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, wow. Man, I love that, man. Well, this has been a bloody great chat, Mitch. I really do appreciate you taking the time coming on the podcast. First episode as well of Let's Scrap.
Wow, I think. Did everyone else quit? No one else answered that.
No,
that's
honestly,
right. I'll send it around.
I will say to the listeners, we have a lot of interviews scheduled. UFC talent, local talent. It's going to be good. I'm so excited to get this show up and running. And, you know, what a better way to start with you, Mitch. So thank you so much, man.
Oh, no, it's been an absolute honor. Is there anyone you want that you can't get?
There'll be a couple, yeah.
Give me a name.
Oh, geez. I mean, well, the first one that comes to my mind, it's a big one. But, yeah, like JDM would be obviously cool, but he's high up there. But there's some Eternal guys that would be good. I mean, it's funny. I know you're probably not the best name to say now, but you did mention Harry Webb before. He's one that I've actually been trying to get for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even on my other podcast. I did a podcast before this where I interviewed some MMA fighters. I did I interviewed Anthony Drillich, Wes Kappa, some of those guys.
Yeah.
I saw
Harry Webb's still going through the stuff with his jaw. That's why he wouldn't be responding. Otherwise, he's a great guy. He 100% would do stuff like that. Who's your favourite? This is my natural interviewer coming back out. It's really hard to just answer questions.
No, I know. I imagine
yeah, it's like doing the tango, not being the lead guy. I don't know. It's probably like two dancers out there that get that reference. But who's your like I said, like your dream guest that's not UFC guy? Like, who do you know in the regional scene? What's like the guy that got you onto the sport?
It was Quillan.
Yeah?
It was Quillen, man. Like, I stumbled across Quillen because I was doing documentaries for athletes.
Yeah.
And I did one on a footy player that ended up making the AFL. And I did one on a basketball player that is NBL1. And I'm like, this is sick. I'm like, I want to do...
I've seen those. What are they called?
Athlete's Mind original documentary.
Yeah.
And I'm like... I want to do one on MMA. So I literally, I didn't know a thing about MMA. I just like hopped on the internet and I just searched up like Australian MMA fighters, WA or something. And I saw like the Eternal Champions and I saw Quillen. And lightweight division has always been like my favorite division in boxing. Yeah. So I'm like, he's the lightweight champ. Let's look at this guy. Searched him up. I'm like, seems pretty good. Watch his highlights. He was like 6-1, 5-1 at the time. I'm like, I'm just going to message him. Like, I don't know a thing about MMA. Let's just see if he would do it. I messaged him. He responded straight away. I said, hey, I want to do a doco on you. And it was just the perfect timing because it was like straight after I finished the doco. He made the Contender Series. He did that. And then before you know it, you look at him now and I'm like, I got so lucky getting him at such a good time. And he's the reason why I'm into the sport so much now. Like I even did some one-on-one training with him, which was sick. And I got to know him like off camera as well. And it was truly an honor to be able to capture a small part in his career. And that's what ultimately got me into the sport. And now I'm doing stuff like this.
But that's what's cool. That's the best thing is like no one cares about your Tesla stocks now. They care about when you got in, Bitcoin in 05 or whatever it was. Like that's the cool thing. There was once upon a time, WA Italian Club, same card, or at least in the venue as well. Steve Erceg, who fought for the UFC Flyweight Championship. Yeah. JDM, who UFC welterweight champion. Quillen Sourkild, Cody Haddon, all on the same card.
That is crazy.
Like it's like that level of like. That is nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's like you look back now, Eternal does it every now and then. You go through, I get like memories on my phone and you check out like the old cards and stuff that they had. And you look back and you're like, like that was $80 to go to. It's like, that's like a $500 UFC card.
Yeah.
Now.
It's crazy looking back at it. It truly is. Yeah. And I owe it all to Quillen for giving me the opportunity to capture a moment in his journey. Like you said, you're not doing, they don't need you. You kind of, need them for a part of their career. So, it was amazing. But
I need you though.
No, well, thank you so much, Mitch. Everyone listening, this will be on main platform YouTube, Let's Scrap. And of course, wherever you find your podcast, it will be on there. Let us know your feedback. We've got heaps of interviews coming up, fighters, commentators, broadcasters. It's going to be bloody good. I'm excited. We'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers.